or so, self-love has become a trending topic and buzzword among social media and articles online. It seems like everyone from spa companies to major magazine publishers have jumped onto the self-care and self-ownership wagon. However, when we tell women to love themselves, there is a strange hypocrisy happening in the same moment. As young girls, we enter the world resilient and excited, but soon told our worth is contingent on our appearance. Not only that, the ideal being light skin, straight hair, a tiny frame, somehow accompanied by a huge butt and gravity-defying breasts. So if historically we've been trained that our value is based solely on being beautiful, meanwhile, the standard of beauty has become a pixelized image no one actually looks like, how are we ever supposed to accept ourselves fully? What I'm proposing is the idea that self-love is not a juice detox or a new hot yoga fad, but actually becomes a process of unlearning everything we've been taught. Using the top 10 magazines in the US, I created an erasure poem of the world's most popular articles fed to us through media. For those unfamiliar with different forms of poetry, an erasure poem is a way of taking an original piece of work and erasing words or lines from the text to create a piece with a new meaning. A compilation of quotes from the top women's magazines over the last 10 years. I promise these are all real. With parties to go to, hot guys to meet, and amazing jobs to land, you just can't afford to be down on yourself. Wear red. Studies have shown it's what instantly draws men to you. Studies from researchers showed that men didn't want to date a woman who was smarter than they were. Draw his eye. Pull his focus to seductive spots on your body. The awareness of his eyes on your skin will make you feel doubly desirable. Get confident for that job interview. The job interview is all about the performance of you. Opt for a primer that diffuses and blurs, that helps hide pores and fine lines. Don't feel the need to smother your whole face in this stuff, though. Simply apply to problem areas. Perfect your complexion. Camouflage any pimples by applying a yellow-based cover-up. Exfoliate from head to toe. If you don't exfoliate your skin, dead skin cells are going to clog up, clog your pores, then you're going to spend hours in front of the mirror picking at your face back wherever you break out. So save yourself the time. Exfoliate at least 3 times a week. But remember to repeat daily for best effects. With parties to go to, hot guys to meet, and amazing jobs to land, you just can't afford to be yourself. Wear what men want. His focus on your body will make you desirable. Perfect your complexion. Camouflage from head to toe. The job is all about the performance of you. Diffuse and blur. Hide your whole face. Simply problem areas. Spend hours in front of the mirror picking at your face back at least 3 times a week. But remember to repeat daily for best effects. The new demand for self-love comes at no surprise, because the birth of any movement stems from its necessity to the culture at the time. But the principle is not a radical concept, right? You're telling me I have permission to love myself? I should have been known that. You're telling me, a child of the universe in God, am allowed to call myself beautiful? We should be waking up every morning looking in the mirror and going, damn, for no reason, right? So, right? So it's important to acknowledge the birth of the self-love movement is entirely due to the enormous deficit of self-value in our world currently. The excitement over the idea of something as natural, something as mundane as self-acceptance and self-permission is a direct reflection of the state of our society. It's funny that I'm standing on a TEDx stage right now talking about self-love because not too long ago, I genuinely believed I didn't deserve to be seen, to be heard, to be loved. I had an eating disorder, and as my body shrank, so did my self-worth. So did my sense of self. I looked in the mirror every single day and called myself disgusting. My mentality shifted when I realized, Angelica, if anyone called your friends or your family the things you are calling yourself, you would be chasing them down the street. And eventually, I was lucky enough to refine my voice through spoken word poetry. According to the Dove Global Beauty Report, only 24% of women in the US report having high body self-esteem. 9 out of 10 of those women refrain from eating or risk their health when they don't feel good about themselves. 7 in 10 young girls already believe they're not enough or do not measure up in some way, whether it's in terms of their looks, their performance in school, or their social status. So if we come into this world thriving with confidence, ready to take on anything, what changes from then to now? It's all going on here. Anything we're told enough times, wear what men want. You can't be yourself. Perfect your complexion, we begin to tell ourselves. Whatever we tell ourselves, we give a dangerous amount of power to. If you're suffering from self-doubt, insecurity, uncertainty, there is nothing wrong with you. And because of this, everything you accept about yourself is a revolution. Yes, I don't care if it's hair on your toe knuckles, if it's a bad tattoo, or years of abuse. Everything you accept about yourself is a revolution. I had some beautiful women in my community write down some things they love about themselves, and guys, these are some of my favorite pictures that I own. Embracing who you are in this world every day is an act of resistance. Every time you say, I love my unapologeticness, I love my wild opinions, I love how I see beauty in everything, I love how extra I am, you are rewriting your own narrative in that moment. And because I don't have a picture of myself here, I will be accountable to my own self-love and say, I, Angelica Maria, love my voice in the places it has carried me. Like right here, for example. Now, changing the way of the world can feel like an unthinkable task, right? But we can unthink the ways in which the world has taught us to see ourselves, and in that is a monstrous change. I'm not a psychologist by any means, okay? I'm not a doctor or a therapist, but I am a storyteller. And if you've ever felt not enough, or for many of us, too much, I challenge you to begin to write yours a little differently. Start right now. I deserve to be here. I was before the world told me what I am, and I will be no matter what it tells me tomorrow. We are so full of chapters, some tragic, others glorious, and thankfully, the ending of one always signifying the beginning of the next. So my question to you is, why not make ourselves authors of this one and only life? Why not make ourselves a story that one day we will want to read over and over again? Thank you.